I was in Wales with my father fishing. Two RAF jets went down the valley. I thought, I'd like to do that. Although yes, I want to do that, it's very easy for people to say, you'll never be able to do that. I mean, when you're a kid, of course, you have, when you're 10, 11, 12, I think I would have wanted to be Han Solo. But the hero of my life, that was my father. My dad, he was the one who I was fishing with in Wales that time, when those jets were down the valley. He was the one who took me to the careers office afterwards. My name is Simon Stevens. I served with the Royal Air Force aerobatic team for 3 years. The Red Arrows are a team of 9 pilots. They fly all over the world to promote English professionalism and recruitment within the armed forces. In my final year I was RED6 Synchro Lead, and that is the aircraft which is right in the middle of the iconic diamond shape. I think if you really want to do something, then you put your mind to it, you can achieve it. My very first flight with the Red Arrows was in the back seat, going through the selection process. You're wearing a flying helmet, that feels strange on your head, you've got an oxygen mask on. The radios, the boys chatting on the radios throughout the show, air traffic control. As much as you want to do the job, you see how dynamic it is. There's a part of you who thinks, as much as I want to do this, will I be able to do it? That year's RED7 will naturally go to become RED6 in the following year. He then chooses one of the first years to be his number 2 in the synchro pair. And I was very fortunate that that year's number 7 chose me. There's one show when I was displaying the Tornado F3 at RF Coningsby. It was a family's evening, and my mum and dad were there. We finished the show, and the aeroplane decided to dump all its right hydraulics overboard, so I lose all the right hand side hydraulics. And so it comes on the tannoy straight away, emergency state 1, aeroplane right hydraulics failure. Well, we're the only aeroplane in the air. So straight away my poor mum, who's there, knows that I've got a problem, and I knew that she'd know straight away I had a problem as well. It all worked out fine. We landed and we walked away. An occasion which raised my heartbeat somewhat was during a summer show in 2006 down in Foy in Cornwall, performing the mirror roll manoeuvre. So where I roll upside down, RED7 formates in mirror on me, 8 and 9 on the wings, and then I push -3, and then we roll the formation around. To continue the roll all the way through to the completion of the manoeuvre, I need to make what we call a gate height, so a minimum altitude where I can continue the roll, because if I don't make that altitude and I continue the roll as normal, we'll hit the ground. That particular day, that manoeuvre down the line was right into a setting sun. I couldn't quite see the altimeter right, so I took my hand off the throttle and put my hand over my visor just to cover the sun so I could see the altimeter. My finger inadvertently hit the speed brake button rather than the transmit button. So all of a sudden there's a big rumble. I start going backwards, and the boys who are formating on me start overtaking me. They do their escape manoeuvres, but my thought is that I've actually lost the engine. They break away, roll the aeroplane out. I'm now thinking, I've got nowhere to go here. I'm over the sea. There's no airfield nearby. And as I come back inside, I see a little indication called a white MI that my speed brake's out. So right away, I know what's happened. So I select the speed brake back in again. The guy's foremate back on me. Quick explanation on the radio. Red 10 doing the commentary, talks over it, and nobody on the ground knew what happened. After the show's complete, a debrief, we'd watch the video intently. Any incorrect smokes or a slightly muffled radio call, that's a £1 fine. So after a season, that all adds up, and we have a big party at the end of the season. So I say, as intense as it was, and as professional that we are, you still have to enjoy it. And there were times, for example, when we often did the heart synchro, we'd be told beforehand by Red 10, on this particular day, a certain person is going to propose to his girlfriend, and you think, well, I've got to get this one right because I don't want to start the marriage off with a dodgy heart in the sky. Certainly 3 years with the Reds, you don't have a great deal of personal time, to be fair. Can take its toll, I guess, in relationships. I had a girlfriend towards the end of my time with the team. I guess the job I do now, I fly the world for British Airways. I'm away an awful lot. My girlfriend was a stewardess. We were ships in the night. Every job's got its ups and downs. There's no golden job in this world which is perfect. As intense as the job was from a physical and mental point of view, you still had to appreciate it for what it was and enjoy it and sort of smile, and because it was a snapshot in time you never get to do again. My last display was in October 2006. At that particular time was the end of the season show, the Great North Run. A little bit of a party afterwards, have the next day off, and then bring the aeroplanes back on the third day. We landed at Scampton, jump out of the aeroplanes, there's champagne and photographs to be taken, a lot of handshaking, and then walk into the squadron. On an ordinary day, it's Reds 1 to 9 with your lockers and your helmets and your gear in. And what became obvious to me at that particular moment, at that instant that show was finished, the team had finished effectively. My equipment and my belongings from my Red 6 locker were now in the administration office because I was a has-been. So if ever there was a saying, the king is dead, long live the king, it was made for the Red Arrows. So I collected all my gear and then I drove home. And I'm not ashamed to say that I cried all the way home. I think you grow up, you're a definite reflection and influence from your parents. Without them, I wouldn't be here doing what I did do in the Air Force and what I'm doing today, with all the encouragement. My dad, I remember not long before he passed away, he said how proud he was of me, having done the job I'd done. My 16 years in the Air Force went like that. It was over in a heartbeat. So whatever you're doing in life, enjoy it and never set yourself any barriers. You can achieve whatever you want to achieve.